do you want from me? Why do you care for me? Why do you know?
You inherited a gift to see the future.
Get off, get off. What? That man is trying to kill you.
Cassie, those girls need your protection.
How do I even know if I can change anything?
The power of your mind has infinite potential.
This is an emergency. That man is trying to kill you. If you want to live, you have to trust me. What is going on? I can see the future. Let's try that again.
Those girls have no idea the power they can unlock. I will kill them first.
Get down! Ezekiel sins. He's got these crazy powers.
I'm more interested in why he's trying to kill us.
In the future, those girls are going to destroy me.
If you want to live, you have to trust me.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Sony and Marvel released a bunch of Madam Web trailers with new footage, more details on how this all connects to the larger Spider-Verse, the Venom movies, the MCU, other Marvel Spider-Man spin-off movies Sony's doing right now like Kraven, Morbius. And we also learned about Sony's plan to make this movie a prequel to one of their previous, really big Spider-Man franchises in live action. So we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. There is so much Spider-Man related stuff happening this year. We have the Kraven movie coming up after this. We have Venom 3 coming later this year. There's that Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man TV show that Marvel is doing on their side of things. Then we have Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland's version of Spider-Man. So the next couple of years, Spider-Man fans are going to be eating good. Like there's going to be a lot of Spider-Man related stuff. But during the new trailer footage, they reveal more about her powers from the comics. They haven't revealed which character this guy is playing that she's talking to, who seemingly knows everything about her powers and her mother. When he tells her she inherited a gift to see the future, I think the idea is that he worked with her mother. And in the movie, they have that funny line where she references her mother studying spiders in a foreign country. The whole idea is that it's meant to help set up the basis for Madam Web's powers and her neurological condition. Her mother was doing research into her neurological condition. I think what they're doing is they're just putting a twist on her origin story from the comics. Most people who have played the video games or watched Spider-Man the animated series know a version of Madam Web. In the comics, originally, she was just a woman from Salem born with a neurological condition that took her eyesight and the ability to walk, but caused her to develop incredible psychic powers, using them to become a medium. She's got a whole bunch of powers. She's telepathic, she can astral project, she's clairvoyant, she has a greater precognition sense than normal versions of Spider-Man have with their Spidey sense. Like we saw a version of the Spidey sense during Spider-Man No Way Home. Madam Web's precognition is way more powerful than that. She winds up using her abilities to act as an oracle and a mentor to versions of Spider-Man and Spider-Woman across the multiverse, like the Spider-Force, for instance. She gets involved in a lot of multiverse stories featuring the Web of Life and Destiny, which they just canonized in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. There's some footage in the trailer depicting that, like this is meant to be their depiction of the Web of Life and Destiny. You're meant to see her inside the web. It's meant to show you her connection to the Web of Life and Destiny. The actual Web of Life and Destiny from the comics is another way of describing the multiverse from, say, Loki's strands of rope timelines he uses to construct the new multiverse, looking like the World Tree. That's why during Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man 2099's depiction of the Web of Life and Destiny starts out like a growing tree. It's just different ways of describing the same thing. All the canon events that they talk about in that movie serve as fixed points in time that help control the normal flow of time in those universes, preventing Nexus events, to use a Loki term. Madam Web's ability, at least at first in the movie here, allows her to perceive different strands of the Web of Life and Destiny, different timelines, potential futures. In the movie, I think they just refer to it as the Web. They don't say like the full Web of Life and Destiny title. And at least the way it comes off initially as her powers start to develop is just basic precognition. But she becomes much more powerful than that and can use the ability to mentally travel along the strands, which is basically traveling through space and time along timelines to other universes. And I think the major reason why they wanted Dakota Johnson to play Madam Web of all characters, like you could literally do any character you want, they control like 900 characters because of the rights they have to the Spider-Man character in the movies, is because Sony didn't have a version of Doctor Strange, or Marvel wouldn't let them use Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
That's pretty good. But it's taken.
And they needed a way to bring all the characters together across all their Spider-Man spin-off movies inside this Venom universe and connect that to what's happening in the larger multiverse with Avengers Secret Wars and stuff in the MCU. So essentially, she's like their major crossover character, because the last time we had a crossover character, it was Tom Hardy's Venom, and it was actually Doctor Strange on his side of things, on the MCU side of things, that did all the legwork to get him there and take him back. Madam Web is just the workaround that Sony is using because they don't have use of Doctor Strange or Benedict Cumberbatch all the time. So the idea long term is that unless the Madam Web movie does terrible, like it does full Morbin time, and Sony wants to disavow any knowledge that they ever made a Madam Web movie, like, we don't know what you're talking about, there is no Madam Web. They'll bring her character back in the future, maybe Sydney Sweeney's Julia Carpenter, maybe a few other Spider-Women. Sydney Sweeney just happens to be blowing up in other movies in real life right now, like she's super popular, so I think Sony wants to do as much with that character as possible. And put all of them in a team-up movie with Tom Hardy's Venom, Kraven, Morbius, the Vulture, any other Spider-Man-related characters that they introduce into this whole universe, including whichever version of Spider-Man that they decide to make the main Spider-Man of the universe. And apparently, originally, Madam Web was designed to be a prequel to Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man movies. I bet a lot of people were thinking about this too, because technically the Madam Web universe is just earlier in the timeline of the Venom universe. And they've already revealed that all the Sony Spider-Man movies take place on that same Venom Earth, like in the same universe. Remember when Morbius came out, we saw all those Spider-Man Easter eggs. A lot of it made it seem like they were actually trying to make the universe Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man universe. Apparently, Sony's original plan was to include all these references to Amazing Spider-Man Andrew Garfield in the Madam Web movie. Supposedly, they have all these references to Ezekiel Sims coming back in time to kill all the Spider-Women before they get their powers, which we see in all the trailers, but also he came back to kill Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man before his mother, Mary Parker, gave birth to him. That's supposed to be who Emma Roberts was playing in the movie. That's why she's super pregnant in all the behind the scenes. She's supposed to be pregnant with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. I just did a video about how Sony is trying to get Marvel to bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield for Spider-Man 4 and make an even bigger multiverse movie than Spider-Man No Way Home was. Kevin Feige wants to wait till Secret Wars to bring them back and wants Spider-Man 4 to be a smaller street-level movie with Daredevil, Kingpin, a few new Sinister Six villains. And supposedly Sony's pushing their crossover agenda, like making this bigger and bigger, making more and more crossover stuff going on here, because they changed their minds about their original Madam Web plan, or Andrew Garfield said no way to their Madam Web movie. And now Sony's removed most of their bigger Spider-Man references to Amazing Spider-Man in the movie, just like Morbius did between the trailers in the final movie. Like the trailer had all these Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield references that they deleted in the final version of the movie. Supposedly, the same thing just happened with the Madam Web movie. And apparently now, Sony is trying to push for Tom Holland to become the main Spider-Man of their spin-off Venom universe. I think part of the reason for this is that they're worried about the box offices for a lot of their Spider-Man spin-off movies that they're doing, just doing really, really poorly, and hoping that Tom Holland showing up in some of these movies will help legitimize them and get asses in seats. Like, oh, Tom Holland's in the movie, now we'll go see it. Let me know in the comments, though, if Andrew Garfield does not want to come back and Tobey Maguire does not want to come back to be the main Spider-Man of this Venom spin-off universe, then who do you want to be that main Spider-Man? Because it sounds like Kevin Feige and the Marvel people are going to do everything they can to keep Tom Holland from being in like a billion different Spider-Man movies, so it would have to be a completely different version of the character. My early theory right now is that the solution to their problem would just be to make a live-action Miles Morales Spider-Man the main Spider-Man of that universe, because they already said that they were making a live-action Miles Morales movie back when Across the Spider-Verse came out, but they didn't say when they were going to release that. My early assumption right now is that Madam Web will just do however it winds up doing, probably not going to make as much money as they want it to. They'll remove most of their Amazing Spider-Man references to Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and just be kind of ambiguous about which version of Spider-Man eventually shows up in that universe. Then they'll wait till after Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out. I'm sure it's going to make a crazy amount of money. It'll probably be amazing. Then they'll publicly announce their live-action Miles Morales movie and just have that be the main Spider-Man of this Venom spin-off universe. Maybe there's some cameos from Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield when they do that live-action Miles Morales movie, and he gets to be the older Spider-Man. Hopefully they can do that cameo without having to kill him off like they did in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. If you want the much older mentor-like Spider-Man to a younger Miles Morales live-action Spider-Man, I think Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire would be much better picks than, say, like Tom Holland Spider-Man. He's just way too young to be a mentor to an even younger Spider-Man right now. Not quite, but almost like them doing a live-action version of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but treating it like those events have already happened so they don't have to completely redo the origin story in live action. Also, please do not kill Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man in service of Miles Morales' origin story. That actually feels like something that Andrew Garfield would want to come back for. Personally, I also think that if Sony is so hot on bringing Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire back for other crossover movies, why don't they just give them their own solo movies? Like, do a version of Amazing Spider-Man 3 and Tobey's Spider-Man 4, just call them something slightly different. Post all your theories in the comments below. Andrew and Tobey come back for Secret Wars. What else do you want to see them come back for? Click here to learn what's going on with Spider-Man 4, and click here for all that brand new Daredevil Born Again footage in that first look teaser. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.